Yeah, this one was an ugly one, man. Vikings 6, Bears 16. I mean, the Bears really shut down Dalvin Cook. That's the first thing that jumps off the page to me. I mean, when I was watching that yesterday, 14 carries for 35 yards. I mean, that guy's a leading rusher in the NFL. I mean, but we knew coming in how formidable the Bears defense was, and we were talking about, which Kirk Cousins would we see, because Kirk Cousins has just never beat a good team.
Yep.
And Vikings, they knocked Mitch Trubisky out of the game, which might have been a blessing because, Chase Daniel come in. He was 22 of 30 for 195 yards and a touchdown. Cousins, I mean, he had 27 completions, only 233 yards. I mean, that's not good in any form or fashion. But, I mean, the Vikings didn't even score until, 2:58 left in the game. It's a 2-yard run by Dalvin Cook, but it was just it was ugly, looked like 1970s football. But I was surprised that the Vikings couldn't get any more going than that.
Oh yeah, and the touchdown they did score, they tried to go for a 2-point conversion, and that was a pathetic out try.
Well, you had to because you were two scores down, so you had to do that. But this was just ugly. I mean, total yards 200. Vikings had 222 yards. Man, it looked like the crap they put up against the Steelers in the Super Bowl back in the 70s. Passing yards, 182. Bears only had 197. Just passing yards per pass, 4.3 yards per pass for the Vikings. You give a quarterback $80 million and you go out there attempting 4.3 yards a pass, and Chicago was barely better with 5.8. The sacks killed them too, man. 6 sacks for 51 yards.
That's pathetic.
The Vikings, with Khalil Mack, man. I mean, he's going to bring the pressure. Both teams had 7 penalties. It was the rushing yards, 40. Vikings had 40 rushing yards. Bears 72. And the Bears controlled the clock. I mean, they had it for 35 minutes. I mean, they just couldn't do anything. I mean, third down officially, Chicago was 5 of 16, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Vikings were 5 of 13, and this was just an ugly kind of game to watch. I mean, this is not what we're used to seeing in this era of NFL football. You're used to seeing both teams go up and down the field, but it's hard for anybody to go up and down that field on the Chicago's defense, especially if Cousins isn't playing right. But golly, I just didn't think they could shut Dalvin Cook down like that. I mean, they made him look like Claude Rains, the invisible man out there. What they did to him, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
and you know what? That's probably a similar stat line you're going to see from some other games of teams that play the Bears, because you're not going to be able to run the ball on them apparently.
So next game we have Jacksonville traveling to Denver.
The mustache goes to Denver, huh?
Yep, 1-2 Jaguars and 0-3 Broncos. So the stash going to Denver, Jacksonville and Denver.
But you know what? It was more about the invisible man, because somebody put out APB and they found Leonard Fournette, and he came out and actually played good. 29 carries for 225 yards. I mean, he helped them beat Jacksonville won 26-24. I mean, it was a close game, but Mustache played within himself, 19 of 33. Gardner Minshew, the second of which I speak, 213 yards, 2 TDs. Joe Flacco, man, he had 300 yards, 22 of 38 for 303 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had the 1 pick. Sanders, he did what Sanders does. He had 5 catches for 104 yards, and D.D. Westbrook 5 catches for 66 yards. But Denver come out there, Noah Fant 25-yard pass. They go up 7-0. Then Jaguars answer with a field goal. Then here comes Broncos. Cortland Sutton 7-yard pass, and they go up 14-3. And then here they come again. Brandon McManus makes a 33-yard field goal, and that's 17-3. I'm like, okay, they're going to get their first win.
Yeah, and nope,
because here comes Josh Lambeau. He had a 40-yard field goal. Like, we're going at halftime, 17-6, still looking good. But boy, after that, here comes Raquel Armstead, 7-yard pass from Gardner Minshew. And then James O'Shaughnessy had an 18-yard pass from Gardner. And then Josh Lambo added a 34-yard field goal. And then Cortland Sutton scored another touchdown, 8 yards, made it 24-23. And then they got that late field goal. The Jaguars did a 33-yarder as time expired to win 26-24. But, Fournette, man, that's been a long time coming, man, because you just wonder, was this guy a wasted pick or what? Because you hadn't seen this in a while.
Yeah. I mean, and the news about Denver is like to lose the field goal, but then you also lost Chubbs out for the year now. He got injured.
Yep, first-round pick from last year.
So it's just Denver, they look good. I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they win. But, Broncos now 0-4. Jacksonville 2-2. So who knows?
Hey, they had a sack, right?
Yeah, at least it's something.
5 sacks, 27 yards. The interception, that hurt them. But rushing yards, 269 yards for Jacksonville. I mean, it's hard to lose when you're doing that. If you're playing this physical smash-mouth football like that, and they dominated the clock, man. They had the ball for 39 minutes. I'm like, dang, man. But they also, they had 12 penalties, and, they did this without Jalen Ramsey. He didn't play. I mean, their best player's still sitting on the bench with some, has a myriad of excuses, but
yeah, he was sick, injured, expecting a baby.
Yeah, all the above. Pick an excuse, but yeah. This one, I like that kid, man. I like Gardner Minshew. I mean, the fanfare is just going to keep growing. It's going to become mania down there. You're going to start seeing guys coming to Jacksonville games with a mustache and wearing the jorts, the blue jean shorts. So,
yep. Well, guys, we got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to New Orleans, the Sunday night game, and wow, just not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I know. I mean, these Cowboys lose a game without giving up a touchdown. I'm like, okay. I still can't believe the Cowboys lost this. I mean, sitting there watching it, I mean, the amount of pressure they put on Teddy Bridgewater, Quinn was just wreaking havoc over there. And I still can't believe that they won this game. Teddy Bridgewater was 23 of 30 for 193 yards and an interception. Dak Prescott was normal, like Dak numbers from years past, 22 of 33 for 223 yards, 1 pick. But, I mean, what the Saints defensive line did, and they're just stopping Ezekiel Elliott, 18 carries for only 35 yards. I mean, good gosh. And Alvin Kamara, 17 carries for 69 yards. Cowboys' leading receiver was Jason Witten. 4 catches, 50 yards. And, Thomas for the Saints, 9 catches for 95 yards. But this game was – I just never thought the Cowboys were going to lose this game watching it because they seemed like they were the better team. Mm-hmm. But that fumble, Witten, I mean, boom, there he goes, and he gets punched out okay. Then the second fumble, the one on Ezekiel Elliott, that elbow was down. I mean, the elbow was down. That should have been Dallas's ball right there. And I mean, and they win that because Teddy Bridgewater's not going to beat them on a comeback. But just tough defense. I mean, Jordan Howard over at the defensive end for the Saints is just a monster. I mean, he really is. And he gave them fits, and right now La'el Collins is playing better than any offensive tackle in football, and he had his hands full with that guy. That guy he is really, really good. Howard, I'm talking about, and I just didn't see enough play action from the Cowboys. In the last 2 or 3 games, they passed over what was it, like 50 to 75% was play action on first down. Well, you didn't see that. I guess they were too worried about the noise and think, we got to go in there and run the ball and quiet the crowd. Well, you're not running the ball on those guys. This is a team a lot of people picked to go to the Super Bowl. A lot of that's because of that defense.
So think about the Saints are now 3-1 without Drew Brees, 2-0 without Drew Brees.
Oh, this is better than they could have hoped. Remember,
Yeah.
we were talking about they could get out of that 4-4.
Yeah, and Cowboys are now 3-1. They have Green Bay at home.
Yeah, both
So-
teams coming off a loss.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be a cakewalk for the Cowboys
No,
to come back.
no. Saints had the ball more than the Cowboys. They had 36 minutes, but those 3 turnovers really hurt Dallas. But Dallas sacked Bridgewater 5 times. For 41. Dallas only had the 1 sack that they gave up. Yards per pass. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater was 4.3 yards a pass. You're not supposed to win doing that. They had 149 yards passing. Yards per play, Cowboys 4.8, Saints 4.3. The total yards was about 13 yards difference. The total plays, the Saints had that. But, to me, it come down to those turnovers. And like I said, one of them was questionable because they definitely were moving the ball. But you win 4 field goals. You don't score a touchdown and you win. But they played good. They played within themselves. Cowboys didn't have any answers. I mean, they weren't really getting beat down the field. What was surprised about is the runs up the middle, how they got gashed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for this week, folks. That's it for week 4.
Yep, and we'll be talking later on this week about who wins the Monday night game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Steelers, both 0-3s.
Somebody has to win it.
It has, unless it's a tie, which I'm not saying it, but guys, that is our show. This is our week 4 NFL rewind on our games. Please like our videos on YouTube. Make sure you tell your friends on our podcast shows, Instagram. We're on all the shows. This is the VIP Sportsnet NFL show.